Well, U.S. President Joe Biden has been asked about the Israeli strikes in Lebanon and how the conflict has escalated each day this week. He says his administration won't stop working until the region is safe for residents again.
Both the people in northern Israel as well as southern Lebanon are able to go back to their homes and go back safely. And the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, our whole team is working in the intelligence community to try to get that done. We're going to keep at it till we get it done, but we've got a way to go.
To the Lebanon. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We're moving this way. Thank you.
Is it realistic to get to a ceasefire deal, or have too many bad things happen that make it difficult?
If I ever said it's not realistic, we might as well leave. A lot of things don't look realistic until we get them done. We have to keep at it.
Well, the White House is closely watching the situation in Lebanon. For reaction from there, let's cross to Shihab Rattansi. He's in Washington, D.C. Shihab, we've just heard some of what U.S. President Joe Biden has had to say, but National Security spokesperson John Kirby's also spoken. What has he said?
Well, he was asked point blank, had the U.S. had any advance knowledge, any heads up about the latest attacks. He said he was not aware of any notification, pre-notification of the strikes. He was asked whether any U.S. intelligence had been used in the strikes. He said there had been no U.S. involvement. He was asked whether there were any concerns about the strikes. And he said he was not going to comment any further, but then he went into a very general speech about how he doesn't want any further escalation. He thinks that a negotiated settlement between Israel and Hezbollah about the Israel's northern border, the Lebanon southern border, can be reached, and they're trying hard to get that done. But it's strange then for both he and Biden to say, look, we're doing everything we can to de-escalate, get everyone back in their homes, and yet clearly there must be some kind of green light for Israel to carry on doing what it's currently doing. And it's interesting how Biden framed what's happening right now in Lebanon, saying we're doing everything we can to get people back in their homes in northern Israel. That's how Israel's framing what they're doing right now in Lebanon. They say, well, we're opening up this front in order to, quite explicitly talking about opening up and expanding, rather, the front, while the U.S. is calling for de-escalation in order to supposedly get Israelis back into their homes.
And Joe Biden has said they'll continue to keep at it. Does that seem like a reasonable response in terms of bringing people back to the north of Israel, where it's likely that that is a front that won't become calm at any point? Hezbollah most likely will react. Today alone, we've seen 200 rockets being fired.
Yeah, but everyone's aware what will get the Israelis back to their homes. Hezbollah has been explicit. It's a ceasefire in Gaza. So actually, Biden was asked, so is it unrealistic for that ceasefire? That is the core issue here. And he said, well, things look unrealistic until they get done. But he has to say that, really, because what we have seen is a change at the White House now, with various people briefing the U.S. media saying, no, it's probably not going to happen now till before the inauguration of the next president. Biden, meanwhile, what else is he going to say? His entire foreign policy reputation is in tatters. He came in saying, I'm, going to be the expert on foreign policy, former chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. We always have the stories about how he butted heads in the Obama administration as vice president because, he thought he knew foreign policy better. He was the one who, wanted the bear hug with Netanyahu, and it's utterly failed. And not only that, he's also failed in his other main hope that he was going to get a normalization agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia. He's always chafed at the fact that Trump achieved the Abraham Accords, normalization with the UAE, Bahrain, and Israel, which arguably led directly to October the 7th. But he was going to be the foreign policy president. He was going to get the big one, Saudi Arabia. That's now been ruled out pretty much as well by Saudi Arabia. He's failed. What else is he going to say? We're going to keep on trying. Because right now his reputation in the Middle East is not as the man who brought everything together. It's of having left his successor with an all-out regional war and himself having gained the nickname of Genocide Joe.
Shihab, thanks very much for speaking to us from Washington, D.C.